Worst job interviews. According to Reddit. Number 14. My biggest takeaway from reading this entire thread is that some absolute morons are getting interviews pretty easily, and I'm struggling to get an interview for any portion of, well, listen, it's not your fault, okay? You really need to get a low-cut top, show off the goods. And, it's a bad joke because the implication is that this is going to get you a better chance at a job, but the truth and unfairness of the world in which we live is, you're probably going to stand a better chance if you did that, but if you're the right gender, Unless you're going for a job with a bunch of ladies, in which case they want some young, tight meat. And, I guess that segues properly into all of your days. How are you doing? How much young meat have you had? And I guess we can gauge how great your day was or was not based on your answer. This wasn't an answer, it was an observation, as usual. That's what I get for not proofreading these, but maybe it lends to the humanity of these very recordings, these sessions that I share with you. Our little secret. Don't tell anyone be just another regret. Dirty little secret. Who has to know? Number 15. I had a guy literally sprint out of the building. I wasn't the interviewer, I am a web developer, but as we were trying to hire a second developer, I was asked to prepare some basic web development questions. These were not hard. They were absolute bare basics, baby's first code stuff. The guy comes in, starts interviewing, and was apparently doing okay. Not fantastic, but enough to keep him in consideration. He saw that we had a test and apparently grabbed his bag and ran out of the room. All I saw was the guy sprint full tilt past the rest of the office, shoulder barge out of the way and run off into the distance, followed by two directors stumbling out of the interview office laughing uncontrollably. I guess he lied on his resume, which they call a CV overseas. Tired of these compromising these non-America. I'm kidding. But the truth of the matter is, I guess a lot of people are brave enough to, let's just say, lie their way into a position at a job. It kind of makes you wonder how many people hold their position because they were not adequately tested when they were initially hired, and how long they are just going to get away with it. Could probably score a free paycheck out of it. The worst part about, and this is, I'm saying worst, but actually I'm talking about corporate's side. I'm talking about like the jobs side. The worst part about a job hiring someone that they did not adequately test is that they will then be forced to fire them, which will grant them benefits instead of them quitting. Do you know what I mean? So as crazy as it is to sound, you hire in a person that you thought was good for a certain position, but you didn't test properly with your lazy ass. It's a crazy scenario. It's fucked up. T.Y. Daniel says AMC Theater closed. Wow. Well, I'm sorry to say. I'm sure these theater companies, they have money that is, I don't know how to articulate it best other than to say, even if they were broke today, a bunch of people would come and give them money. Y'all will never know money like that. Maybe your parents will help you. Maybe they'll bail you out in a situation where you're screwed, and the implication will be that you'll pay them back as best you can as soon as you can. And that is the implication, say, if AMC ran out of money. But so many of these companies have found ways to just be bailed out, sometimes without even the expectation that they should be paying anything back. And it's fucked. We'll never know an existence like that, where no matter how hard we fuck up, somebody will kind of just pave that right over, smooth it over, give us all the money we need to get back up on our feet and fuck up again. It's pretty crazy. Imagine just like you having money put into your hand and then you kind of like tripping or just, turning your hand so that the money falls out of your hand. And bro, they're just going to put more in your hand. Pretty crazy. Pretty messed up. But we can't think about stuff like that if we're supposed to make it on a daily basis. Hello to Linda. Hello to Alante, Zy Lawrence, Tommy Swans. Candor, Zy Lawrence. Zy says, can conform with number 14. While I knew some fucking morons who kept fumbling job after job, I was struggling to get one after 3 years of experience at the time. Thankfully, now I got something better. And you are one of the lucky ones. Not everybody gets the opportunity to even be seen to assess whether or not they would be good contribution. You know? It's fucked up. It's fucked up, but that's the true. Number 13, telling me you obviously know more than me. That's a great way to start an interview. And that's why I need to hire you for a position that I am the direct supervisor for, in the most condescending tone that I've ever heard in almost my 15 years in this career. Knowing more than me was required. I'm only in charge of this position because I know more than my bosses about it. But we were looking for someone who specialized in this role. The attitude of I'm obviously better than you was not a requirement, and lost him the second interview. Until that point, I was loving his confidence, obvious knowledge, but he just took it too damn far. There's always somebody with a complex like that, and it's always fun because the beauty of it is that you don't need to flex and demonstrate to everybody that you're, I want to say, more capable in certain fields than they are, that you know more on this specific subject than they do. If that is something you need to flex about, then it exposes you for being the tiny man whom, without this thing, might even consider themselves nothing. And it's one thing to admit that people might not see you as relevant if you're not capable in the very specific field, but when you make it clear that even you agree that you're not a big deal without this one thing that you clutch so hard that your ego betrays you to the point where you're flexing about it, bro, that's some little PP energy right there. I feel like everybody could go pretty far if they acted like they were trying to impress a woman in most scenarios, you know what I mean? But a lot of this is just, ugh, you ain't ashamed? A little bit ashamed, bro? You want to impress people in the job interview. You want to seem like a wolf, like a lion. You know, seeking to devour people and assert yourself and be who is chosen and gobble up whoever is hesitant. But you don't need to big PP flex on everybody. There is a boundary, and y'all need to find that shit. Number 12. My manager once told me that a guy came in to interview and didn't know about OHM's law. The position was for electrical engineering. Bitch, you don't know about ohms? And you in electric? Boy. Still can't get over I was watching the Avengers game and, you know, Bruce Banner and Tony Stark were both working with their bare hands on like exposed circuitry with sparks flying off of it. It's one of my favorite scenes in the whole fucking game because it really just shows you how little respect they have for these characters. And it's funny, I get it, you're trying to push females, you're trying to push teens. Maybe it helps you feel young to think that, oh, I'm writing a teen character who's just insufferable and annoying, and that's what you know, inadvertently portray these characters as. You know, kids are cringe, but for a variety of different reasons that you haven't isolated here. You just give them bad dialogue and call it a day. Mary Sue them up. Tell us that they're very good characters, very smart, very capable, instead of showing us anything. And then you take these dudes that are supposed to be scientists, physicists, engineers, and have them working on exposed circuitry with sparks flying off of it without gloves. It's just crazy. I'm saddened not just because some people are so stupid, like the person in the number 12 here. This is something that could easily cost you your life. But what's terrifying, okay, is that some of these dudes are put in positions that could cost other people their lives. Some of them are responsible for a multitude, if not a building's worth, of lives. And sometimes, when you're dealing with electricity specifically, the ripples of that are immediate and far-reaching. You and I do some shit and fuck around in a way where the lights are compromised for a considerable radius around where we are. Imagine people, doing something where they needed the lights. The power goes out right now, unless you got a flashlight in your motherfucking pocket or on your keychain that's near you or some shit like that. Hopefully your phone battery is charged. Do you get what I'm saying? You can use a flashlight for a little bit. Man, imagine the street lights going out. People already can't fucking drive. The street lights go down and now they got to do this. They got to navigate that. People in the street, people in the way, people getting hit. It's just because of some idiot that's supposed to know something and is in a very... I don't know, man. See, on certain levels, we can laugh and joke because, this guy ran out of the job interview because when he saw that they were going to test him, he freaked out and ran. Bitch, imagine if some idiot like this ends up with a job where he's responsible for a bunch of people like he's a bus driver, responsible for people's eating a meal somewhere. One accident could cost a bunch of people their lives if the person is in the right position. And some of these positions do not require people trained properly, know certain things. I mean, it's just police all over again when we think about it. Number 12, my manager once told me a guy came in for an interview, didn't know about ohms, and he was an electrical engineering applicant. I mean, whatever. Okay. Number 11. Been doing a bunch of interviews lately for an intermediate network engineer. I had a guy start off the interview with, I don't really know anything about networking. Well, you gotta admire the confidence, though. You know what I mean? Like, hey, look, you're not getting this position, but if you want it, here's my number. I am so aroused by the amount of confidence on display here. I almost feel like you could play an instrument that you've never put your lips to before because you're so confident. Sardonic says, totally unrelated to the topic, Kyle, have you seen Solar Opposites, the Dan Harmon show on Hulu? Yeah, we binged all of that in like a hot minute. It was nice to have another show that was not Rick and Morty to just listen to Dan Harmon's bullshit in. I didn't really care for it. It didn't leave much of an impression. We can't say that we remember much of that show, but I remember when I first watched it, I thought to myself, that little mini civilization is going to be more interesting than this entire show. And one episode, it may have even been 2 episodes, they dive into the mini civilization, and I was right. There was that mini civilization was more ripe for an interesting narrative than the whole show was. And who am I to say that, it's not great or blah blah blah, like I'm writing something better right now. But I think what they should do. Okay. What?
I think they may be here. I heard a knocking.
Oh. Well, there you go again.
So that's what I read in the 2 spaces?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. As we continue up this list, we arrive at number 10. In high school, I was in a group interview for a crappy mall retail job where they asked us if we had any fun nicknames. This college-age kid next to me perked up and looked excited to answer. He then proudly proclaimed that his friends like to call him DJ Big Balls. You have to wonder if it was just something that he chose, or if in reality, them things were big. You know what I'm talking about? I have to wonder if it were the case, would I want to be known as this? feel like it would invite unnecessary attention to this fact. And worse, depending on the crowds you mess with, maybe they'd want to see. You know what I mean? How big are they, people might ask. I don't know, man. Somebody says, this wouldn't necessarily keep me from hiring a guy. Dia, if you had big balls, would you advertise it and go by it as a nickname?
Big balls?
Yes.
No, because it wouldn't be like the equivalent of having big boobs. Because if you have big boobs, obviously.
You have big boobs, you can't really hide those, but you might be able to walk around without people noticing your balls, which is the point of me asking, hey, if you had big balls, would you go by a moniker or
Which is why I'm saying that, you know, when you have, you know,
Jesus, no.
a big ding-a-ling, or big boobs or a big butt, you definitely want to, you know, definitely go by something that really promotes what you have an abundance of. But I don't know about balls. I mean, is it impressive to have very big balls? I wouldn't know. I really wouldn't know.
The thing we need to remember is that to someone, everything's impressive, which means sometimes I yawn a lot, sometimes I sneeze. And to some people, that makes them really hot. You know what I mean? You know, light the candles, rewind this list, you know, get in that bathtub. What you do is your own choice. You need to make your life, and don't let anybody tell you, you know, if you're not hurting them, that you're doing anything wrong. Because your body is telling you yes. Number 9, so this food doesn't get cold. I worked for a big, well-known company, and we were recruiting interns straight out of college. The questions are more to get to know you rather than to acknowledge knowledge, Jesus, rather than to actual knowledge of work or experience. The company actually gave us a paper with some example questions like the one below. We could ask if we ran out of I said dia when the word is ideas. That's not funny, it's sad.
I said aw.
I know. It's not sad, it's funny.
What?
I know. It's not what, it's why, Dia.
I'm gonna hurt you.
I know. It's not hurt, it's pleasure. I'm sorry. The company actually gave us. I'm not gonna be a jackass. This one list. For real. The company actually gave us a paper with some example questions. God damn it. Like the one below. What? That we could ask if we ran out of ideas. Damn it. I've seen this before. Jesus, I can't believe I'm giving it to whoever, and they don't even need to pay. You know, it's just for free. I'm giving it to them.
You brought it up. You made this happen.
I'm just giving it to them for free. No, I should start an OnlyFans and make some freaking money off of these sneezes and coughs and yawns that are really doing it for somebody as we continue through this entry. So it's been going pretty well, very bubbly, chatty girl, and I have an impression that she would fit the team until finally we get to the fucking meat and potatoes of this stupid ass entry. I say to her, how do you handle multiple deadlines in a short time period? For example, you have 2 to 3 exams close to each other, or an exam and a big class project. The interviewee responds,
well, you try to do your best, but if I realize I cannot meet both deadlines, I just call in sick. Sorry about my mouth earlier. I've been sucking a lot of dick. So, you know.
That's how I got the job.
That's how I got this interview. I mean, I thought this was all a formality, right? I mean, you're talking all this shit. Oh, you're not gonna hire me, but take that dick out, though. Oh, no gag reflex. Yeah, just for you. What were you saying? Clipboard. Exactly. You're gonna be begging me for a job.
Yep.
oh my god, this woman's really sexually aggressive. Number 8, former head teller. Okay. My old manager once came over to my desk after an interview and let out a massive sigh and declared, quietly, so only I heard them, that he needed a double of scotch. Apparently, the person showed up to the interview in a white wife beater, like a tank top, ripped khaki shorts, and had the N-word in his email on his resume. Wait a minute. You think it was hard R? Or he was like ball a nigga at Gmail?
Ooh, which reminds me, guess what?
What?
Apparently, some country singer got caught saying some racial slurs, and now there's a lot of backlash towards them.
You know what's getting really funny is like white people forgetting that everywhere isn't safe for you anymore to just be racist. Yeah, like closed doors means your house and with people that you trust so they're not recording you with their phones and shit, bro. Y'all can't just be racist. I mean, a lot of y'all are still safe because each of the people you hang out with are 10 times more racist than some of you, but I mean, still, boy. So it's funny to see old-timey racism coming into the new generation of no, sir. The cameras are on. What do you mean? I mean, you finished, bitch. No. So this is this whole entry. This guy was like, I'm going to need some scotch. Because the guy came in on a wife beater and had the N-word in his email. Needless to say, my boss did not hire them. You know, I like to believe that if I am good at what I do and what I'm interviewing for, I should be able to have all kinds of Satanism, niggatry, and ho-ism. You know, I celebrate hoes. That's who I am. I'm a hoe celebrator. Celebrate good times. Come on, hoes. Oh my god. Because I'm watching fucking stupid Office with Dia. Sometimes when I'm talking now, I ask myself, is this something Michael Scott would say? And it's going to start shutting me up, okay? I'm really sorry about this stuffed, nasally bullshit. Look, I got some stuff to impress upon you tonight, viewer. Whether you're watching this at the time or watching it after the fact. And if you're watching this after the fact, send me something that will let me know that you're there, okay? Sometimes I wonder if you're there, and I'm glad that you're there. I'm glad for you here right now, subs, patrons, sponsors, subscribers, Twitch subscribers. Some of you have even ventured over to Twitch to subscribe with your free Amazon Prime. I don't even know how to articulate proper thanks to you, and I love you from the dawn of the morning to the setting of the moon, right before the dawn of the morning. Okay, it's a 24/7 love, except for leap year. You know, so that's not even like a consistent break. It's just, you deserve it. You deserve the love all the time. But what I'm going to tell you is, and this is going to seem like it has nothing to do with anything that I've said before, I started this list when I needed to use the bathroom. Like, I have to pee. And I've had to pee since the time that I began this list. And I believed that it would motivate me to get through this list faster, in a more concise manner.
And isn't it?
It could. I guess it will never be part of the alternate reality where we know. I'm very sorry. These are technically gross Kyle noises. That's not cool. I'm really ashamed about that. You know what? You know what? You know what? You know what? I'm looking at my Pepe in his chair kicking right now. And I'll be honest. I'm not the same type of person that maybe existed before my generation. You know? I see things and I save them on my hard drive in the way of memes, in the way of titties, as if this is my Pokemon card collection. Some people collect stones and fossils, you know? I see funny memes, I collect those memes. I see funny, you know, can we put this shit in an album and give to grandkids? Dude, here are the memes that I thought were funny, you know? And I know also, Dia, that specifically Like, if you can't look at the meme and find it objectively funny without understanding the context, I know that those won't stand the test of time. They're too topical. Do you know what I mean? But you know what's always funny? Certain grabs, certain captures, certain reactions, and certain faces. Do you get what I mean? You and I are crazy about the faces, even though you don't know it. And you see me pausing and stopping my VLC to screenshot something every now and then, and it's because these are the memes that I feel are worthy of passing on, Dia. But what I'm going to start doing, man, is breaking out, like, whoever becomes stream boss, whoever is donating crazy, I'm just going to start breaking out my Paypays. And I know that sounds silly, the implication that, oh, they're so rare, you know, oh, this is your holographic fucking, you know, oh, you've got literal, unironic, rare Paypays, Kyle. Yes, I do, nigga. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And you're thinking, oh no, I could just find them. I can just type in Pepe GIF and find whatever, you know, thing that Kyle maybe. Nah, son, you ain't seen these Pepes. That's the bottom line. And I'm not here to offer them as incentive, as a surprise, or, you know, as a donation reward or some shit like that. I'm just saying that I think, you know, that much like a parent or a person would pass on their memes. This is a part of me. This is who I am to a descendant. I should be sharing these Paypays with you. Okay?
How nice of you.
And then maybe if I get enough people on board with how stupid and ridiculous it seems, then we can open up a Paypay trade. You understand? You know, not that you need to give something, I need to give something. Just a dumping ground so that these Paypays stay alive. PB&J says, hi, Kyle and Dia, the package has been shipped. It's been what? Listen.
What?
You don't worry about this. Yeah,
Okay.
Dia.
Yet.
Yeah, I'm going to have you be the one to open it.
Ooh.
And then we'll see if we can fit you in it.
Fit me in it. Well, now I am worried.
It's not close.
Oh, okay. Then, well, my head is small, so I think I'll be fine.
I can't believe you, PB&J. You're a hero, you know. You're going to make me stuffy in another kind of way, and we need to continue. I'm so sorry. Falcon says, are you talking about your fucking rare Pepes? I kinda was. I know it was a weird way to start, but that's where we arrived. Okay? And we're going to continue now. You know, I am at least aware enough to recognize that, it's shameful. Number 7, casually mentioning that she wanted to sex her ex on fire. No, Kyle, there's only one. Shut up. Let me try this again. Number 7.
It's okay.
Shut up. Sometimes you want to sex your ex on fire.
Yep.
It's the ultimate dream, you know, is that they're dying, but you're also getting the pleasure of doing...
No one's like that.
of fucking them. Ooh, Dia thinks nobody's like that. Can I tell you something that I said to a friend that I was talking to the other day?
Well, metaphorically screwing them over, yes.
No, man. No, you don't understand. Not metaphorical, not figurative. You know, some people have a disgust for their ex because, take it from me, somebody who's dated people who just suddenly flipped a switch and hated them so bad.
I'm talking about, like, actually screwing them.
Yeah.
Why?
Why not fuck them and they're on fire? And, like, as their, like, last thing, it'll be... If you hated someone, Dia, this is all hypothetical. We do not condone hatred and, you know, having such a grudge against this other person and having them occupy time in your brain. Like, the ultimate thing you can do is release them and get them away from you and get them out of your head because they don't deserve your thought. But, hypothetically, if you did hate somebody, Dia, what worse than the degrading act of you fucking them, right? And also they're on fire, so it's like they're dying. Listen, I consider myself someone capable of getting into a lot of different perspectives and mindsets,
I mean,
adopting certain
again,
mentalities, and I can.
understand wanting to like really sticking it to them, but I don't.
Yeah, I
know,
mean,
like,
you're really sticking it to them, like dicking them, just digging them out, Dia. But they're on fire, dude. They're on fire.
Why don't?
And in this scenario, we're gonna assume, of course, we're immune to the flames. You know what I mean? They can't hurt us. You know, maybe we're like Johnny Storm at the time, kind of deal. Flame on, dick in, dick out, dick in, dick out, dick in. Look. Look. Ghost Rider. Is Ghost Rider immune to flames? Ghost Rider needs a helmet in space.
Well, he needs to breathe, but it doesn't necessarily mean that he'll die from fire, because he's still Ghost Rider. He is fire.
Seraphin tries to offer reason Kael, if someone were to have sex while on fire, they'd die. Yes, the person on fire would die. Yes.
No doubt about it.
No doubt about that. Raphael Reed says no oxygen in space. You might assume that fire might burn the oxygen as well. So if you need to breathe, my dude, you know what I mean? Jesus says you might have a sexually transmitted infection if your dick is on fire. My dick is not on fire. It is vernacular, popular among people of my race that you might not understand. So for me to say that my dick is fire / my game, my dicking is fire, it's different from saying that my dick is on fire. You know? You know? Like that song, That Girl Is on Fire, is not literally about a woman on fire. No.
Alright.
I can't take this anymore, saying everything I said before. All these thoughts, they make no sense, boy. Number 6. This guy's resume had a ton of IT skills and technologies and that should have been a red flag, but didn't have many candidates for the position, so we gave him a shot. The first question I asked him was, so I see you have PHP on your resume. Can you tell me the types of environments that you've worked in? He answers, what? Don't know what that is.
Nice.
It actually says what? I don't know that. No.
There no square?
Don't touch me there. This is his no square. What? I don't know that. And he didn't say it like he didn't know PHP. He said it like he'd never heard of it. When I showed him a copy of the resume, he scratched out PHP with a pen and said, my friend did my resume for me. I'll have to update that. That was the end of any consideration for hiring him. Why would he admit that his friend did the resume? I texted the recruiter to come get him. It took 20 minutes to get there. To be polite, we continued the interview, but it was a very long 20 minutes. I don't remember everything, but every question was a train wreck. He insisted he knew Active Directory because he kept it on a USB drive he carried with him. He got a text, stared at his phone for about 10 very uncomfortable seconds, and then said, hold on. This guy is trying to sell me some Windows while he texted back. When he asked the types of teams and groups that he'd used to work with, instead of saying very structured or easy going, he rattled off about 10 names, first names, as if he knew who they were. When we asked what that team was like, he said, oh, you know, and then repeated the names again. Someone asked him to walk them through a typical day at his current job. I don't think he said anything about work and instead talked about his wife and kids. This just sounds like a moron. It's hurting my brain to even process it, man. It sounds like a moron. The moron that they're allowing to talk. That's probably the craziest part about an interview, is like having to let morons speak. Because it's less rude, or like that's the bottom line. Is you're running an interview, people are gonna come in, and even though they make it abundantly clear that they are not hiring, like they're not employee material, you can't just be like, get out of here. No, you failed. No.
Yeah.
You can't even tell them specifically what's wrong so that they could lie in the future. It's sad, but it's true. You can't even correct their foolishness. You have to just sit there and go, okay, yep. Why didn't I even think about that? Pretty scary and pretty sad. No, Dia. Oh my God. Where's the thing that I usually give you?
What's the what?
Oh God. You can't find it. Huh.
You mean the nose thing?
Yes.
I always give that back to you.
Oh, for the love of God. Of course, when I need the Vicks, I can't have it. Why is it like this, Dia? We have to end this list. I apologize for the gross Kyle noises. We are continuing, though, and it won't happen again. Is this real life? This thing just keeps going? Okay. When asked what types of teams he's grouped with, no, you went back a little bit too far. I asked him how his work was presented to him and whether he used a ticketing system or if he used any project management software. He said, they call me. When I asked if he meant a help desk environment, he said, no, they call me at home. He couldn't elaborate on any of that or what he did after they called him. He jokingly insinuated that the real reason he was trying to get this job is because he wasn't making enough money in real estate and his wife wouldn't have sex with him. What a bow to put on this shit fucking pie. You know? Because it was like, it's mind-bending. It's mind-bending. I feel as an interviewer or recruiter, when you are talking to somebody and they make it abundantly clear that they are either lying to you, that they're a bad fit, that they're so unaware of how underqualified they are, that you just want to wind down and you've made your choice. You're winding this thing down now. Why do you still poke it? Why do you open up more opportunities for them to lie? They say something and it's suspicious, so you press them. They can create a bigger lie. Do you continue to press them? You want to see how far the lie can go? It's all, you know what? I bet the types of people who are sitting through these interviews probably love to do it. And their whole fucking thing is just provoking some idiot to make a big fool of himself. And they have like a what do we call it? Like a catalog of all of the dumbest stories they've ever been told.
Mm-hmm.
Your titties okay?
No, my back. I shouldn't be trying to pop my back anyway. Just to relieve some of the stress on it.
I really hope no other girls are going through
What I'm going through.
like basically going up 2 cup sizes almost overnight. You know? Many people would think you're pregnant, Dia.
Yeah, your mom said that.
Because of the titties?
I just looked a little bigger everywhere that day that she said that. And I'm like, nope, I'm not.
Bigger everywhere, huh? Yeah, I'm only getting bulge bigger. Number 5, there are so many. Making comments about getting into an employee's skirt as they walked past, the good old sexual harassment. Explaining how they took copies of all the company's codes home. That's got to be immediately fire-worthy. Explaining how they used to work 2 jobs at once, pretending to work for one from home. Oh. My fucking nose is pregnant, Seraphin. You want to make jokes. Explaining how they program for their PlayStation with Notepad while being interviewed by programmers for a sales role. My God. Telling the interviewer that the problem they are trying to solve is impossible, even though it has literally 3 lines of code. It was a warm-up question. Nice. So maybe he thought he was being tricked, bro. Maybe he thought their big gamble was figuring out whether or not he could solve their riddle at the beginning of the freaking interview, mind you. We'll know right off the bat if this guy sucks or not. This is an impossible question. Stupid. Jesus says, does it burn when you pee? You might not be drinking enough water. Or this is more sexual transmitted infection jokes. Just because I said one thing about figuratively, in a hypothetical scenario, fucking an ex that was on fire. Okay?
Someone said that I must just have never experienced a hate fuck. No. Anytime that I want to be intimate with someone like that, I want it to be out of love, not out of hate.
She's kind of calling out the basicness of what a hate fuck would be. Yes, I can understand where something like that may happen, and because you're middle schoolers, you convince yourself that it was a hate fuck. But unless you've been watching too much television or movies where people just get so frustrated because of all the sexual tension and I hate you and I want to rip your hair out, but kiss me. You know what I mean? Bruh. Real life, you really shouldn't be sticking it in anybody that you don't believe has your best interest at heart. What that means is the real life iterations of, quote, hate fucks, where you're with somebody that you previously broke up or called things off with for a very specific reason, enough to where the feelings that both of you have for one another are, you know, ferocious, hostile, malicious on certain occasions. Yes, there are still feelings for one another. Yes, you are still familiar with one another because maybe you spent a considerable amount of time together. So, you know, nobody at this particular time may know you both better than each other. But if those bad things were bad enough to separate you, it ain't hate fucking. You know what I mean? It's just a bad idea, and both of you being stupid enough to do it because at this point the bad outweighs the good, but you're still going to allow that to happen. Unless the implication is that hate fucks can occur between people who are together. And if there are two people that are together and you guys aren't role playing and you can agree that you're hating each other, what's really going on? So, no disrespect to any basic people that think that that's a thing, but it's not. You're just calling it that because, again, there's a level of intimacy there, unless you're agreeing with me that it's less intimacy and less feelings that you're still catching and more like 100% just stupidity on the person's part that's involved. There's no way that it happens. It's kind of like saying you found a girl that's role playing as a younger girl, and it's the same thing. Yeah. Put a bad bow on a decent analogy. You're welcome, guys. It's impenetrable now. Impregnable, you know. Number 3. I had a guy who was a little rough. Asked him to go easier, you know.
Thank you, Linda.
Linda once told me a story about paying somebody to pretend that they were me, but she had them in like a role where like they were cleaning her room, Dia, and it felt very offensive as a black man, like I was in this subservient role. You know, the submissive, like slave-like role, but because it was Linda, Dia, I kind of felt like her fantasy was like the role reversal. You know what I mean? Whereas like Linda typically serves me, you know, now she is I have a whip crack noise. I'm not gonna pull it up, but she is cracking. She's saying, "Clean it," you know, and she also has a sled, and I am attached to it with a rope, and she says, "Mush, mush to the kitchen, Kyle, for gummies for me, but not for you." And she puts the gummy in a dog bowl, and the dog bowl has my name on it, Dia, and it's wrapped in cheese like I'm a literal animal.
Are you sure you're not secretly a furry?
I'm a furry now, Dia. Why? They're so lame. How can I be a furry now?
Because as of recent, you just go too hard with the you being an animal thing.
I just like some of the hentai where like the women's boobs are like so big that it's.
Well, we're talking about furry stuff, not like regular.
Oh no, sorry. Like furry topic is so boring to me that I always just skip right over it and go to like Rule 34 kind of SFM artists. I put a lot of them in the same, let's call it, space, because I think a lot of the artists and SFM like 3D hentai makers are really smart in that they have jumped into the pool of furry people because they know that they will pay them a hefty price to animate porn of their dumb little furry characters. So imagine you're not really into any of that, but you can animate some stuff. You can throw some 3D models into a software program and have them banging. And like if people come to you and they're like, "Oh man, I really wanted to see this character do something," you can kind of just swap out that character and put them into the same scene and then be paid for it as your own like private work. It doesn't stop at furries either. There's probably because remember, like Five Nights at Freddy's, Sonic the Hedgehog, Undertale, it doesn't matter what fandom, you can just get a 3D model for any of those characters, and then, you know, and you're not necessarily a furry or a gamer or any of this bullshit, but it's a way to make money, and I just immediately went from furry to that money-making guy in there. I guess I'm jealous. I guess I'm in awe. I'm impressed. That's business, you know? When you're casting a wide net.
How does this come into play with someone treating you like a dog and making you mush?
What does that have to do? You're the one who likened me to a furry just because in Linda's fantasy, Kyle had a dog bowl that Linda was willing to give me weed gummies with, but she was wrapping it in cheese like I was a genuine animal and wouldn't swallow my weed gummy.
That sounds more like your fantasy.
It's not my fantasy, bro. Like I said, as we talk about Rule 34, you know, I respect a lot of people's weird, you know, they want to fuck an animatronic Five Nights at Freddy's figure.
I still love you if that's what you want to do.
To be honest, if I've seen the titties on some of these SFMs and they're, you know what, it's enough. A man would wait.
With your silly little.
Listen, did I mention that I have to piss, Dia? If you make me laugh, if you actually make me laugh.
Don't pick on Linda.
How am I picking on Linda? I love Linda. And I respect and appreciate her fantasy.
That's
and I'm not offended in real life because, you know, it's just a fantasy. And she's entitled to that. You know, what am I going to, I'm going to get mad at people's dreams? What am I, a girlfriend? An irrational girlfriend? It's not funny. That was my impression of somebody who finds things like that funny. I'm just.
You're somewhere. You should.
I'm fighting with myself not to think about The Office. That's the problem, Dia.
Well, you have reached Michael Scott level.
No, stop it, dude. And I hate it because he is the kind of guy that ruins. If you think about it too much, it ruins you talking because you don't want to sound like Michael Scott. You don't.
But yet,
I don't. But I'm just saying, watching the show puts him in your head. It puts him in your head when you're speaking for any period of time, and it really backfired. It was just supposed to be this normie thing that we could share together, and you can get lost in the Jim and Pam show like you do, okay? But fuck. Now I'm thinking about Michael Scott. And the things that I say they better not come fucking close. So hey guys, you know,
well, it did.
I'm glad that we can be at number 2 on the list of what? Worst job interviews. According to Reddit, number 2 of 2. Here we go. When I worked in a bank as a manager, one internal candidate that I interviewed put her finger in front of her face while I was talking and said, "I'm gonna stop you right there." I went with the other person who didn't put their finger to my face. They put the finger in front of your face? Ooh, who do you think you are? You think a lot of rich bitches working as a bank teller? Because they just love to be around money. Parents tell them to go get a job and they go,
Okay, well, I'm rich. Let me work here.
and you rolling into the interview with that energy.
Let me stop you right there. I own this bank because my dad has money.
Oh boy. Linda says, "I'm gonna tie you down and beat you, Kai. But I'm a dog. You can't do that to an animal. That's abuse." And that's where I draw the line. Stop it, Kyle. It's not funny. It's just dumb. Don't go down this road. It's just a dream.
Let's pretend that he said none of those things previously about him and Linda. Please and thank you.
That was a great dream, Linda. You are very imaginative, and I'm glad that you used the proper venue
That's what I mean, but
to
you
be
sound
adventurous.
Like Michael Scott. This is.
It's not a Michael Scott thing that I just said. You just have as much office on the brain as me, and that's a problem, but we can't allow it to affect our public speaking. So number 1 on this list, friend of a friend. Let's call him Bob Short, or Bob for short. Yep. You know, I got a job despite not being able or being the best qualified candidate, down to the final 2 for teaching a job. Or a teaching job. There was Bob who was a solid, unremarkable candidate, clearly good enough for the role, but nothing special about him as a candidate. Then there was Charlie. Charlie was an absolute rock star teacher. He won awards, young, dynamic, and driven, outstanding teaching demo, just the nicest guy who had glowing references. Then they asked, "Any questions?" And he replied with, "Could you tell me if you'd have a problem with a teacher dating a student?" He really asked this in an interview. A teacher really asked in an interview, "Do you have a problem with teachers dating students?" You know what's the saddest part about this, Dia? The fact that he asked means that there are probably places that don't have a problem with it when they hire people. When they hire people, Dia. Wow.
I don't want to think about it. I don't like thinking about it because I went to like 3 different schools where that happened, and it's gross. It's gross that it happens so often.
I'm really sorry that, these dudes are teaching around what they consider irresistible kids. Irresistible. Unforgettable. Now you're in jail. That's why, darling, it seems to me the booties are too kiddie. And that's why Fortnite skins meeting their idols. Oh, I get it. Because there's a skin in Fortnite that was supposed to be kind of like this guy from G.I. Joe, but now since the G.I. Joe guy in there, that's a really deep one, Dia. I don't think a lot of people know G.I. Joe. But the idea that he's in Fortnite, it gives me hope that maybe the stupid shit that I'm into will find its way in there. You know what I mean? Even though I'm already into normie shit, so shit like X-Men being in there is great for me. And I love you, everybody.
How is it normie to be into that?
Huh?
How is it normie to be into that?
Because, it's not like hardcore. I'm not, into anything that's super, super deep, where it's so, unheard of. Like, what about a Cassern? I wouldn't even use that. I wouldn't even use it. Anime. Just go into anime. And then whatever animes they beat on, it'll work for me. I want a Death Note on my back. You know how normally the internet is now, Dia? We can't even really talk about the Death Note. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Why?
It's just the way that YouTube specifically and the surface internet likes to do things. The thing is, back in the day, back when Death Note came out, we could make mad Death Note jokes about who we might write in it, things we might do with one, shit like that. We know better than to talk about Death Note at all now, because the titular item within Death Note, the Death Note itself, is too juicy. Too juicy for today's internet. I remember YouTube used to be cool for being, quote, too hot for TV, and now YouTube is TV. We need to make the pilgrimage. We need to make the transition, the flying together as a flock to the new whatever will do what this other thing does not. I think N64 launched with wait a minute. Was it Sega that says...
Was it Sega that says...
I'm Googling this shit. Okay. I think the line was Genesis does what Nintendo don't. I'm not making this up. Let me hit people with what they deserve so they don't think I'm that lame. That's how lame this shit was, boy. Genesis does what Nintendo don't. So we looking for a platform that's gonna do what YouTube stopped doing. Ooh. Teddy says, have you heard of Robihachi? It's like Space Dandy, but better. I have actually not. You guys might be... You might sigh and think, of course, to know that one of my most enjoyable anime experiences is actually Pop Team Epic. You know? I'm sorry.
And we have yet to hear
Meh.
of
Meh.
the show
What show?
Pop Team Epic.
I thought I had like our little icons somewhere, but I don't. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for doing what you do, for liking, for being here, and I will see you again tomorrow. If you're watching after the fact, stay out of trouble. Oh, we got office bullshit up here. What it feels like to be on Reddit nowadays. Would you guys rather have $100 now or $5,000 a year from now? Oh boy. Zai says, I'm still waiting for Bleach to return, you poor guys. A King's Game? That's not that Netflix show about the chess, is it? Guess what happened when you typed a King's Game into the internet? It brought up a sports match. It brought up a sports match. I'm not joking. Is a King's Game a movie? Were they asking me about actual sports? Jeremiah says, have I seen a King's Game? Like a game with the sports team, the Kings? I have not. I'm sorry. I had not. Oh boy, I feel crazy. I'm sorry.
It's a cell phone game anime? What?
You're gonna make me pee. So I should get out of here.
No, they said that it's an anime.
What's
King's Game, or whatever they mentioned initially.
King's Game anime? Okay. I'm not sure if this is it.
Maybe just King's Game instead of a King's Game.
King's Game the animation.
That must be the thing that they were talking about.
What was the name of the anime that you were talking about, you watching, where a guy sleeps with a bunch of girls and then one of them gets him?
School Days.
What the hell is this Sudo? Who does it? That's what I want to know.
They said Darwin's Game? That it's like Darwin's Game, but I've never seen that, so I would not know.
32 members of a high school receive a text message that welcomes them to a deadly game. You know what sucks? I haven't been able to experience Persona 5 because wouldn't that be like the longest video gaming series ever in the world? Easily 100 parts.
Oh.
If we tried to go through that shit.
Someone asked if you were going to play the Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Most definitely when it comes out. Seeing that brought back some stuff, and it was nice to see that apparently 40 DLC is going to be involved, so I'd love to play that on stream because I'd love to have started Mass Effect a bunch of times and tried it a few times, but it was so clunky, it performed so weird on PC, I didn't like it, and it needed an overhaul in the menu system. Like, I'm not a guy that gets super confused, but it's like the clutter of inventory management and shit like that. The UI was the problem, not the menus themselves. The interface was bullshit, and it needed a makeover or an adjustment or kind of like a being brought up to standard. It would be like if right now we were to jump onto a Windows 95 computer with that, to be honest, functionally, it wasn't that different, excuse me. But I guess a better comparison would be to say, if we were to text somebody using a touch tone phone, like a Nokia Brick, and I'll bring that up for Nokia Brick. I'll bring that up just to show people what the fuck I'm talking about. And when I say text, I mean you don't just get to type the words. You have to press one button. Say you wanted to type Kyle, you're going to need to press 3 times to get to the C, because the A, B, and the C are the 2 key.
Oh, and you better hope that you capitalized before you started the word.
This is that old school shit. Believe it or not, some of us were really fast at this. Really fast at texting using a touch tone phone. Or, a number phone. And it's funny to think back on now because I remember when some keyboards were on certain phones, people used to give them shit going, all I need my phone to do is to call people. I don't know why I would ever want a keyboard on my phone. It's that same energy, bro. That same energy. I don't know why anyone would ever jump into one of these automobiles. I have a horse and it works perfectly fine. I don't see how anyone could ever ride. Okay, bro. Okay. Gotcha. Good. If we were to go back in time, that's what I want. That's what I want to make into a video, is going back in time and finding out the different versions of people who won't wear a mask. Ladies and gentlemen, I love you. My nose is stuffy. I need to use the bathroom. Everything's falling apart with me because somebody won't ease up off the voodoo doll. But you know what? The dick's still big, and I love you. Okay? Ease off my fucking doll, bitch. Pocket bitch. As we continue, we're at the end. You see what I did there, Dia? As we continue, as we stop, it's done. What? So I do want to wish you guys another merry new year as we step into February. Okay?
February 3rd.
You did it. I know it doesn't feel real until you're already in the next year, bro, but you know what the crazy part is? It was just January and now it's fucking not. You're already in February. It feels like the year just began and you're already a month in. And you know what's going to come quick too? And all we can do is hope we survive. But if we do survive, you know what's going to come quick too, bro? Next year. Before we know it, we're going to be on the other side of Christmas doing the countdown to the next fucking year. Feeling older, feeling gay, feeling lame, feeling weird. Nothing wrong with feeling homosexual, you know? But that's not the gay that I'm talking about. Feeling like, whoa, what have I done? What haven't I done? You know? When I say gay, I mean that you're actually feeling, as opposed to being numb to the world. After the Christmas and you're going to the new year, you are going to start feeling. Oh, what happened? Nah, man. So I say that to be a little bit motivational. Whatever you want to do that you would feel regret about at the end of this year, and you should know what that regret is like, because you know, you're already in the new year and you're not that far from the regret last time. So a little bit of that regret could still be sprinkled on you like some crumbs. Like we're gonna throw you in the air fryer and fry you up. You know what I mean? But you should take that and turn it into something that you can do something with now. Okay? Even if you do it a small amount every day, start doing that shit now. So that by the time, it's every motivational speech you've ever heard about a resolution, but it's the inverse, because this isn't like, oh, what you're going to do in the new year. It's like, okay, bro, the new year's already begun. You've already fucked up, but you can still start now and get the jump on the end of this year when all this shit's just going to recycle and feel the same way. Chase Williams over here talking about Spider-Man. You guys really are my fans, because that's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to get a trailer to this Spider-Man 3 movie and see Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, and Tobey fucking Maguire, bro. Oh, are you gonna bring back Doc Ock? He was so great. Spider-Man 2 was one of the greatest movies of all time. You understand, it was peak everything. Mary Jane, Spider-Man, Dr. Octopus. He's so cool. Without that, your superhero movies wouldn't be what they were. What about Blade, though? Y'all don't talk about Blade enough, damn it. Blade was a R-rated, black man-led, R-rated, black man-led Marvel movie that was successful. All Hollywood was trying to do back in the day is say, you can't make an R-rated movie. You got to do some shit that's going to cater to everybody. It needs to be great enough for everybody, which, as you all know, reduces the quality of anything. You're trying to make things more accessible. You just make it suck more. You dilute it. You dilute it like a drink that was good. But now it's just, I don't even want to drink this. I'd rather just have water. I'll see you guys later. You know what I mean? I love you. Jesus says, show me where they touched you on this voodoo doll. Blade is amazing. All right, guys, I love you. I'll see you soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. If you were part of yesterday's stream, you heard me say that, dude, it's going to suck when Betty White dies, because all we're ever going to be able to think about is how she died to that song. She didn't die to it like it was playing at the time. But she died, and that song was associated with the opening theme of the show, and you are going to feel old now, just like a lot of people felt when Michael Jackson died, that they're like, oh my god, I outlived Michael Jackson, the king of pop is dead, and I'm living in the after now. You're living in the after. You know, there was before Christ and after Christ. Y'all gonna be living in the before Betty and the after Betty. BB and the AB. You guys have no idea how much I owe you for tolerating and listening to this nonsense. I'll see you guys later. Love.